So you have to forgive the clickbait title, but when I first started out coaching in professional rugby, I really did end up making more each month from my side gig than what they were paying me in my full-time roles. That is way less cooler than it sounds, because you have to factor in the fact that I made £10,000 in my first paid year as a coach, and I made £25,000 in my second paid year as a coach. And in reality, I had done a year full-time unpaid up until that point. But at the time, the side gig still brought in more for me in these 2 years than my contracted roles. Now, looking back, there's no way that I could have survived London and continued to grow my career during this period without that additional income. So today, I thought I would share my experiences about building that side gig so that hopefully you can take some value from it if you're a team sports strength coach in a similar situation looking to do the same. So let's set the stage. I did a full-time internship at London Wasps, who were a very successful but now defunct professional rugby team in England in 2010. I had a bunch of part-time jobs doing personal training, group training during that first year, and I still managed to end up about £5,000 in the hole, which I'd borrowed from my parents. Mentally, I had decided that I'm just going to keep showing up to this internship until they give me a full-time paid job. And in month 14 of that 12-month internship, they relented and they gave me a 1-year contract for £10,000. And that's obviously not enough to survive even close to 15 years ago. Now, they were aware of this at the club, and the higher-ups had a conversation. And in the summer of 2011, I got a call from the head strength coach inviting me to come to the office to hear a proposition. How would I like to train clients in the team's facility out of hours so that I could make some additional income and make ends meet that year, and they could continue to retain their cheap coach that they just contracted? Oh yeah, there's a caveat. They also wanted a cut of the business. And I said, well, basically, you're asking me to pay to work here when you already don't pay me enough to work here. I thought that was kind of funny, but I was flatly told that yes, that's the case. And the opportunity that's being presented to you, like that £10,000 contract, was take it or leave it. So I could either accept both of them, or I could go try to work in professional rugby somewhere else. And bear in mind, it took me 2 years just to get the chance to work for free for a year. So I'm 3-4 years in at this point. So I accepted, and what would become Train Like a Wasp was created, and here's how it worked. So I decided to go with a semi-private group training model 3 days a week after I'd finished my regular coaching hours. I didn't do this because it was a smart business decision or because that's what the market wanted. I tested and people had given me feedback. I just read in an Alan Cosgrove article that if you train more people at once, your hourly rate goes up. So I did that. I did 3 days a week because that's all I figured most general population people would train. And I did it after hours because I just wanted to finish my regular day job, roll into those sessions, do them, and then go home. Starting out, I coached all of those sessions by myself. We did a group-based warm-up for about 10 to 15 minutes. We then did 3 10-minute blocks of escalating density-based training, targeting the whole body, followed by a 10-minute finisher at the end because it was the early 2010s and Joe DeFranco was literally Jesus at this time. Social Animal was $99. It's now completely free. If you'd like to get your hands on a copy of it, simply visit callmecare.com/social. But for now, please enjoy this video. Next, marketing. At somebody else's suggestion, I hijacked the club's Twitter. I asked them to put out a few tweets highlighting that fans and people local to the training ground could come in and work out in the same place as pro athletes, get access to professional level coaching and blah, 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 blah. All that usual marketing stuff. I had a super simple lead capture system, which is there was an email address for those sessions. They emailed an inquiry to that email address. I manually emailed them back an information sheet, scheduled them for a week of trial sessions, and then I crossed my fingers that they would show up. If they showed up and they liked it, they would then sign up at a cost of £10 per session on a month-to-month basis. So anywhere from £10 to £30 a week, depending on whether they attended 1, 2, or 3 sessions. Looking back, this is obviously insanely cheap. What they also got when they signed up was 5 golden tickets. So literal golden business cards. They were embossed and shiny and looked beautiful. I'd paid extra money to have them done off of Vistaprint. And on each of these cards, it said, this ticket entitles you to a free week of training at Train Like a Wasp. Email here for information. And of course, if they showed up for that free week of trials, I would try and sell them in the same manner that I had sold any lead that came in via Twitter. The capacity for each session was 24 people. We had 6 racks times 4 people. That means that one person would be doing the primary barbell exercise, one person would be spotting, one person would be performing an exercise that didn't need to be spotted or use a barbell, and another person was resting. So that means that my maximum revenue ceiling per session was 240 pounds. At 3 sessions per week, that's 720 pounds per week. And on a monthly basis, that is 2,880 pounds a month maximum capacity. Now, I never actually hit that ceiling, but I got pretty close. Off the top of my head, I think we hit 80 to 90% capacity during the summer when the weather was nice, we were training outside, people are enthused about training, a little bit less in the winter. Now, before I got to that 80 to 90% capacity, there were 2 major things that I did. One is that as soon as the sessions were generating a decent amount, I went out and I negotiated an hourly rate with the new interns for the rugby club, again, unpaid like I was, to basically assist in those sessions with me. Break down, coach, generally make life easier and make sure that the clients were getting good value. And this was a big time saver for me because many hands make light work. And I was also able to delegate a bunch of stuff to them and just reduce the amount of time that I was at the facility, not actually directly delivering those sessions. Secondly, once I had a high level of confidence in their ability and the standard of their work, I started to gradually pull away from those sessions. You can see this is the Strength Coach Network playbook 10 years before the fact. So rather than leading every session, now I would just assist. Rather than be there for the whole session, now I would just greet clients at the beginning and say goodbye at the end. And eventually I just fully handed those sessions over to the interns and collected the money. And all told, at its peak, Train Like a Wasp was generating anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 pounds a month. And once the interns and my cut to the club was paid, I was leaving with about 1,500 to 2,000 pounds a month, which in the grand scheme of things is nothing. But remember, my first contract paid me 10,000 pounds a year, 833 pounds a month. And my second contract, 25,000 pounds a year, was 2,083 pounds a month. So my wages were effectively doubled thanks to this venture, and I wasn't doing that much work by the end of it. So what happened to Train Like a Wasp? Why didn't I just bump up to 2 sessions a day, 6 days a week, milk as much money as I could out of it, and then eventually focus on that full time instead of rugby? Well, I was working a lot of hours. In addition to Train Like a Wasp, I was still training one-to-one clients of my own. I also volunteered for the A-League games to get more exposure to the senior squad because at the time I was just an academy strength coach. And I was also finishing my master's degree in 2011 into 2012. I was very tired and all I really did want to do was just focus on rugby because that was my passion. Second thing that happened was that there was an ownership change at the club and the new management wanted no part of Train Like a Wasp. So it got shut down in the summer of 2012. So what might have been. So I'm reflecting on those 18 months of Train Like a Wasp. What did I do well? Well, it's not lost on me that I had a lot of tailwinds helping me out in setting up that group training venture. Namely, I had an excellent private facility that I had to pay pennies on the dollar to use. Try training 24 people at once in a regular commercial facility. It's much tougher, it's much more expensive, it's probably not gonna happen. I was also able to piggyback off the club's very strong brand. They were a top flight, highly successful professional rugby club. And of course, people naturally want to see how the sausage gets made. They want to be inside that facility and they want to be able to brag to their friends that they train where insert name of famous player also trains. Another major help was being able to piggyback off the scale of the club's Twitter following to get leads. Now, of course, this was just to get the initial batch of clients and it's still on me to convert leads and retain clients and all that stuff, but it's a big leg up and it really helped me to get momentum in the beginning. What I think I did best was the golden tickets. The fact that I gave people physical tickets to hand out, I think prompted a higher referral rate than if I just told people, hey, you can bring 5 free friends for a free week of training. And likewise, the tickets looked nice. And I think I also put the monetary value of the sessions that they were getting on the ticket. So I think both of these things contributed to people being more likely to hand them out to their friends. And I think that if people were a little bit uneasy or unsure about training in a group environment in a new place, just having a week of free training to bring a friend along with them probably helped to put them at ease. Another thing I think I did well was offering a free week of training versus just one session. By giving myself a longer runway, I think I created a lower pressure sales environment and I just let people convert themselves through getting to know and be a part of the group over a whole week versus a single session. That's really hard to do in an hour to an hour and a half. The third and final thing I did well was use a systems-based approach. I've learned then and since, sometimes through good experiences, mostly through bad ones, that the more you want to delegate, the more simple and formulaic the approach has to be. Otherwise, it's just impossible for you to teach others and maintain the quality. Now, obviously the caveat here is that when you're training people, you need to entertain them as much as you train them. So you do have to build in a lot of variety among all that systematization. What could I have done better? Well, I did no marketing. So the leads either came ready, willing, and able to do a week-long trial of training, or they didn't come at all. There was no cultivation of leads on my part through things like content or social media. This was post Facebook, but pre-Instagram, and I didn't use my Facebook. I did have a YouTube channel, Facebook, and a website presence at that time, but again, it was mostly a personal channel of me documenting what I was doing in my career. And if I had my time again, I would for sure hire a videographer before hiring anyone to coach sessions with me. And I would try and put my focus on becoming a content machine to, one, feed the funnel better, and two, also have less leads fall through the cracks and have a way of remarketing to people if they didn't sign up after that initial 1 week trial. Second, I should have charged more. It was just a lack of confidence on my part that I charged so little. And by the time I started to get momentum, I was happy to have doubled my salary and not even be delivering the sessions myself. So I wasn't too fussed about putting the prices up. What I should have done was have confidence in the brand that I was piggybacking off, the facility that I was piggybacking off, and the sessions themselves, which were my creation, and just gradually crank the price up over time until the conversions leveled off. I also should have added more sessions. Even if the Monday, Wednesday, Friday rotation of sessions wasn't maxed out, and it wasn't, I probably should have started offering a rotation of sessions on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for the people that couldn't make Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I was also thinking about adding a second session later in the day to the original Monday, Wednesday, Friday rotation at the time that the program was canceled. But laziness got the better of me. I should have been more ambitious sooner. I also should have automated. I was billing these clients through manual bank standing orders. I was contacting everyone manually through email. I was paying the interns manually. Everything was manual. Unfortunately, I never got to the size where this was an issue, but had I continued to grow, I think eventually this would have ended up becoming a big time drain and a massive source of inefficiency for me. So that's the story of Train Like a Wasp. What would I recommend you do if you're in a similar situation? Well, I would say if you work in a nice ass gym that is sitting vacant for multiple hours a day, and they are, put it to use and start training people on the side. Even if it's just 1 or 2 people at a time rather than 24 at once. But you're already there. There's no commute. And if you're a coach, that's probably going to be the highest hourly return on your skill set right now in terms of in-person work. Try to strike up a deal with whoever runs the facility where you are. If you don't ask, you don't get, but make it easy for them. Get insured ahead of time. Don't make a mess. Don't cause problems. Don't make any work for them. Just literally get them to agree to let you use that facility to generate income for yourself. I know someone doing this right now, a major Power 5 college that makes more than their boss as a result of doing exactly what I've described to you. So if they can do it, you can probably do it too. Ask, the worst thing they can say is no. After that, find a simple, repeatable way of getting people through the door. And once you find a way that works, you keep cranking that motherfucker until you reach your personal capacity. Next, train others to do it for you to your standards, then gradually step away until you're able to work on the business, just marketing and selling it, rather than being in it, delivering sessions to clients. And the last thing you want to do is use your newfound free time to add more sessions, grow more revenue, and then retire to your tropical island. As ever, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share, and comment to let the algorithm know. And if you have any additional topics that you'd like to see covered on this channel, let me know, and I'll be happy to help. Thanks. Thank you very much for watching that video. Daddy loves subscribers, so click here to subscribe. If you'd like to watch another video, you can do that by clicking here. See you soon.